that's a tremendous looking trophy.
Okay, Ciaran. Tell me your big, you're gonna kill me plan.
Well,
then
it is still in motion currently. Have you played the world famous game Mousetrap?
As in the board game?
Yes, the board game.
Is there any other?
Currently,
I don't know. There's probably a fucking mobile game. Yeah, okay. I've played Mousetrap and watched the classic movie.
okay.
Yep.
Do not look outside. But currently, my minions will be assembling a giant version of Mousetrap by your house.
I don't know if you're trying to, how dumb you're trying to make me sound, but Mousetraps work because mice are quite low on IQ scales.
But it's like there's a whole system. This isn't like there's like you gotta wait for like the ball to roll.
What's the thing?
It's a contraption.
Yeah,
it's like a.
It's a
What is
contraption.
the thing in it that's attracting me then?
But
Like, what's the?
The Vita 2's there. There's
You
like
fucked me.
Vita 2.
there's like a book of world justice. There's like a whole bunch of things that you're just gonna be attracted to and walk over and then, bam.
Your two go-to references for jokes are Vita 2 and a Book of Justice, which is like the most on-the-nose SJW joke. Vita 2, SJW. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dylan hosting Platinum Explosion, the #1 PlayStation podcast in the Oceanics, where Ciaran's trying to kill me with Vita 2s and Books of Justice. That sounds like something Bruce Wayne would like have in his house and brood over in the afternoon. Other than trying to kill me, how are you, Ciaran?
I am fantastic. I'm a bit ashamed that this is still a PlayStation podcast, but we shall keep going.
I mean, you can just set your hopes and dreams on one day having an
You can
Xbox
always just
One.
do your own
Like
Xbox
that.
show.
Just be like,
No, that sounds like a lot of effort. I'd rather just take the
he's
thing.
like, who wants to be on it? Everyone's like,
I'll
I
be
just
on
wanna
your
take the thing
PC
that
show.
Dylan's already. I'll take the thing that Dylan's already got established, and then rebrand it because
that sounds horrible.
It works.
Nicholas Pryor,
Dylan Blight.
you're basically a PC.
He's just a PC gamer
PC.
now. Is this?
You're
Yeah,
just
I am.
basically a PC gamer these days,
To be
aren't
fair, I
you?
was a PC gamer before my old PC stopped working.
Like, have we got an Escape from Tarkov topic here today, or?
Yeah, that's numbers 1 to 10 on my Game of the Year list.
If they ported Escape from Tarkov to PS4, would you play it on PS4?
Yeah, probably. I don't know how to work on PS4 because there's that many fucking buttons that there's not that many on the controller.
Yeah, you could have an Xbox controller which has paddles, which I will display here.
I do
You
have
do.
an Xbox
You have
controller
one.
that has
Let's hook it up
paddles.
to your PlayStation. And
I
make it
do.
far superior. I don't.
How
think
do you
you
do
can,
it?
Dick. I'm sorry.
Oh,
It
that's a
is a
shame
shame.
because that's a wonderful.
It is a wonderful controller. You see, we're talking about.
It makes me upset that the PlayStation hasn't capitalized on.
Oh, you
something
mean
like
of the
that.
10 Pro controller bullshit Razer
Yeah,
variants they've
why
put
do you
out?
put fucking? And the worst thing about them all is that
Exactly.
they're all wired. None of them
Exactly.
are wireless.
I don't want to buy a Pro controller and have a giant cable sticking out of it. No way.
Well, I mean, on the scale of things I'm going to worry about Sony fixing, putting out a Pro controller is probably not on the height of things, to be honest. Really?
No,
Oh,
no,
one
no.
for me.
Sony, fix your
Get your
fix
shit together.
God, fix your infrastructure. I tried to download
Right, well, this
last week.
is a great segue. Actually, just pause your fucking
Okay.
thing, because my first topic was Paris Games Week's coming up, and on PlayStation's Twitter last week, they put out a teaser that said, get ready for Paris Games Week. We've got big game announcements and other things, updates coming. 2 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Halloween. is
Halloween.
you can
It's
watch.
gonna get
You can
spoopy.
watch. You can watch some Paris Games Week. What do you want from Paris Games Week, Ciaran?
Well, funny you mentioned that. I want them to fix their infrastructure. Oh, so last week I wanted to play with the beautiful guys over at twitch.tv/explosion. I wanted to play Fortnite Battle Royale, and I normally my PS4 downloads everything really quickly. When I got home at like 5 o'clock, I just chucked on. It's like an 8 gig game or something. I chucked it on. Every time the download got to 4 gigabytes, the game would just stop. It just stopped downloading. Be like, nah, not downloading anymore. Just gonna sit here. And literally, I restarted it 3 times over the following hours. Restarted my PlayStation, did everything I thought of. Still, every time we got to like 4.4 gigabytes, it was like, nah, I'm done. I'm just done. Sorry, man. I'm like, so frustrating. I hate the store. The store just...
It's so funny because I think this is simply like you use your Xbox more and you're more used to it. Because every time I go to use my Xbox, I have no fucking clue how to use that whole console. I get lost. I can't find what I want. I went to look at Cuphead achievements the other day. I had trouble finding the fucking achievement
you click
screen.
the guide button
click
and then you
4
press
buttons.
up 3 times and then there's the achievements. You don't even need to leave the game.
I got lost. I couldn't even get there. I fucking open up the store. It's just like telling me the top rated and best of stuff. I'm like, where's the latest releases? How do I get there?
There's another one that says latest releases.
Look,
Is the Xbox store on the console the same as the Xbox store on PC?
Yeah, it's pretty much the exact same thing.
Because that is confusing as fuck.
Yes!
You two are simpletons. You are simpletons.
No,
it is not
confusing
a bad system.
as fuck.
I'm not saying it's a bad system. I'm saying it is quite messy and confusing.
It says the PlayStation store. Where I'm like, oh, I've got to wait for the PlayStation door to load.
Look, you're complaining about load times. That's not confusing and messy. There is a difference.
But once I get in there, I'm like, okay, this game just came out. It'll be in the brand new or popular section. Nope.
You got a brand new and filter by release date.
What was I looking for? I was looking for something the other day.
Look, on my list of order of storefronts of easy to use and understandability, my order is still going to be Steam, PlayStation, Xbox.
Then Nintendo way lost.
Nintendo is...
Nintendo's weird.
Nintendo's
Not-
It's got like
Yeah.
the top 30 latest release and then it's a best of chart. And then that's...
Yeah.
Other than that, you have to know the title you're looking for.
Their store's horrible. Like, if you think any of the other stores are horrible, it's like, why don't you have, like, a section promoting... It's just... It's Nintendo. Anyway, Nick,
Dylan.
PlayStation, Paris Games Week.
Yes, it's happening.
Anything you think would get announced there? Anything that would excite you?
I think they're going to
big
announce a
announcements.
game.
Everyone's still screaming Bloodborne 2.
Possibly.
It's Halloween.
I hope so. But that seems like more like a TGS type
It does. It does.
But I wouldn't put it past them. Maybe they do a Detroit release
pretty
date.
cool.
Well, if they say big announcements and updates coming soon, like a update would be a release date, I
Yeah.
guess.
In my opinion, I wouldn't want to see
Yeah.
them release or announce another game of any sort, just because there is so many exclusive games in the PlayStation ecosystem that are all, we've seen a lot of, yet they
Most
don't.
of them have release dates at the moment.
Yeah, but I just want them. Just put them out. Stop telling me that they're coming.
They are coming.
Yeah, but just put them out already, and then tell me some new stuff. Show me what you got. Like, let me see what you got.
I don't understand this complaint like, oh, you've been showing it too much. Like, I'm never at a loss to find a game to play. It's not like I'm hanging on waiting for this to
We're not at a loss to games to play because all you play is Escape from Tarkov.
That's true.
Void
And Divinity 2.
point is invalid.
I reckon they announced a Sucker Punch game. If there's announcements.
Oh, really? You don't reckon that's PSX?
I don't know. If there's announcements, that's all that I can think of.
The only thing that
Unless
makes
it's
me
like
exciting...
the order, whatever, 1884.
Hey, they could come out and be
But I'm
like...
supposed to do it at E3.
They could come out and say, hey, Spyro Remaster's coming.
I don't think that'd be a
Oh.
PlayStation thing.
Why not?
Yeah, no.
Why wouldn't that be a PlayStation thing?
Because I think they capitalise on all the consoles at this time.
Crash did as well.
Crash is more... Yeah, but Crash is more
Yeah, but so
related
was
to
Spyro
PlayStation.
in the original,
in
in
my
the original
mind.
ecosystem. It was Crash and Spyro.
But for me, Crash isn't as big of a name. I mean,
Crash
Spyro.
isn't as big as the name.
Yes.
No, you said Crash.
I meant Spyro.
Just chop the bit where he corrected himself out, please, Dylan. He said Crash, folks. He just admitted that Spyro is potentially a better location. For...
Spyro's a better
I'm not gonna-
games, I can tell you that much.
Hell yeah, they are. I just want to... Just give it to me.
Why does one have to be better than the other? Can't we have nice things, everyone?
I didn't say that you can't have nice things. I'm just saying that Spyro's better.
I don't know what I want from Paris Games Week. If they tease some big games and
me either.
announcements, I do have my eyes set on that Bloodborne 2 announcement. That's out of all the games they could announce at the moment to get me excited, like something, because it's not like any other game that's already coming up. Like it'd fill an announcement slot in my head knowing that that would be coming up in the next year or something like that. When I've already got all these other genres and games and stuff like that. You know, it's like if there's too many first-person shooters or open-world games announced and someone announces another open-world game, you're like, I don't really care.
But also, also what I'm saying is, would you prefer it to be, if they announce a game, would you prefer it to be a game that comes out next year or a game that comes out the year after? Because looking at the exclusive list for next year for PlayStation, that list is stacked. That list is so stacked already. So,
but PlayStation had a really slow start with PS4, of first party exclusive kind of stuff, and they rid the first couple of years of third party stuff really. So if they want to switch gears and just come out these last, like if we're in the halfway point or heading towards the halfway point of this console life cycle, if you want to look at it that way, if they want to switch gears and all of a sudden just be like, yep, now that we're up the top of this hill on the way down, we're just going to fucking own it for the next couple of years by having old first party games.
In my mind, like, we've won the first half of the generation, and last half, like, Xbox hasn't got any real exclusive coming out. Let's just fucking stomp him into the ground with exclusive after exclusive.
But that could be their thinking. Like, that could be their legit thinking. Like, it's time to switch gears. Let's just pummel the fuck out of them with first party.
Yeah, like, they think everyone that cares to have both consoles would have them now, but let's give them a reason to stick around on PlayStation instead of playing third-party games on
I can see that being
the other one.
viable.
It's a good reason. It's a good reason to save your punches for this late in the game, is to so you didn't run out of steam, which is good.
Yeah.
Especially they didn't have to.
Yeah. If they announce something Star Wars, that'd be cool, but it'd be a weird place to do it.
Anyway. Make sure your games work. Don't Destiny 2 yourself. Like, all the problems that have been announced with Destiny 2 on PlayStation and the Xbox version it's fine, is a bit of a slap in the face to Sony. Like, make sure your stuff works. Do it right. Don't rush yourself.
That's not their fault.
I didn't see that much outrage.
I've seen quite a bit. In the Destiny ecosystems, there's quite a lot of, hey, crap does not work on PlayStation. This is bad. Wow.
Let's not start this fucking thing too. Slowly mentioning Star Wars, I did want to pop in that I played a little bit of the Star Wars Battlefront 2 beta. Did you actually play some on, PC, Nick?
Yeah, I did. I played like maybe half an hour. I got my taste of it. It's what I wanted. I didn't need to play more.
Yeah, so the same as me. He was quite happy. Was there anything that stood out to you from like people that played the first one that you'd say the improvements and stuff like that?
Yeah, the class system definitely. That is, I love that. It's what detracted from the first game. Like, it was stupid having everybody running around with the same loadout, where this one have different classes with defined roles like support or heavy, tanks and whatnot. My biggest complaint is the cross-era heroes.
Oh, really?
It just takes me out of the experience. Like having Rey and Darth Maul on Naboo. Yeah. Like having Rey there.
It's not like it's
I don't know,
you're
it just
playing
took me out of it.
With all the things of Star Wars in a big sandbox and you're supposed to be just running around having fun. And when I'm in the Naboo palace running around as a fucking droid and then I see Rey come around the corner and start like yelling about stream stuff, I'm not like taking out of the experience because I mean it's just like fun. It doesn't bother me. I'm like this is not canon.
No,
she wasn't born yet.
Yeah, I know. It just like
was she?
Maybe we're after different things, but it takes me out of it.
It was always the same in the original Battlefront games too, though. Like
I don't remember it being
it
like
was.
that.
well, not as bad because like there's a huge generational gap.
I'm pretty sure each map had its own hero. Like you couldn't play as all the heroes on the same map. On Battlefront 2, like the Yavin map had Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker.
Oh really? Maybe it was like the
Hoth
single
had
player
Han Solo.
stuff. You could like do whatever the fuck you wanted in bot mode or something like
Possibly,
that.
yeah.
Question.
But
as well for it. From my point, and also semi-playing Devil Advocate here, what makes Star Wars Battlefront not just like a space Star Wars reskin of Battlefield? Because that's what it often looks like when you see the game, like I didn't play the game, but I watched streams, and the menus, the play style, everything just screamed to me Battlefield. So what for you makes the experience different from a Battlefield game other than it being reskinned to have lasers?
The visuals, the sounds, just everything screams Star Wars to you. You don't think about anything else while you're playing it.
Yeah.
It is the most authentic Star Wars video game.
And
I can
they've
see.
built on the first one. This one's a lot more prettier. Like I saw a story up on like Kotaku or Polygon or something like that just before hopping on to record this. That was like, I'm obsessed with the leaves in the Battlefront beta, and I was like,
I saw that headline.
I agree, because there's like at the start in the Naboo map, it's like, especially if you're playing as the droid, you start outside. And there's like all these civilians that just go like running and screaming as you're like marching in as the bad guys. And there's like all these pretty leaves just flowing across the battlefield as you march in as a droid. And you can shoot the fuck out of civilians. You can't kill any, but I still just chased them across the whole map like, pew, 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 die! I'm a fucking droid! Like, yeah! But yeah, no, it just screamed like there's no way to me it doesn't feel anything like any other shooter. Like I wouldn't get it confused with Call of Duty or Battlefield or any other first person shooter because of the music, because of the characters, because of the thing. And then like even the guns and stuff like that, it's like that's obviously a Star Wars gun to me. That's obviously a Star Wars gun. And you could be like, or how are Star Wars guns different from other sci-fi shooter guns? And to me, they are way different because I know the names of a lot of them, and you could show me that, and I'd be like, "Well, that's Han's shooter. That's like and you know, like the droids that the guns are a lot different to stuff. Like that's part of it. The character designs, and not to mention the fact that you can come around a corner and Darth Maul will stab you in the side with a lightsaber. You're not getting in that in most other multiplayer sci-fi shooters. But yeah, I reckon the beta was great. The one thing I'd say for people like me who actually enjoyed the space battle mode, whatever it was called in the original game, like I remember people being like, it's boring, like there's not much to do. I'm like, I don't know, I'll play every map for a chance to get in the Millennium Falcon because it's cool as all fuck. So I played a fair bit of it. They've changed the controls in this. For
me, I didn't hate the Starfighter battles in the last Battlefront. Like, to me, it just seems like pretty much the same thing, but just in space as opposed to on planetary.
The space battles were my favourite part of Battlefield 2. Battlefront 2. Where the space battles were so much fun.
It's not like that. Yeah, it's not like that, though. Like, it's just you're controlling the fighter. You can't dismount on the other ship and start attacking it like
really?
you could in that Battlefront.
They've added more, like, in this one they've updated them a bit, and I hope they do more of it. Like, you're not just like two ships that play very much the same. They've got like different ships, and the ships have loadouts now, and
the bombers and
the ships are harder to control. Like, they've changed the control scheme, so you have to learn a bit more, but it also makes it more fun. They don't feel as arcadey, I guess. I think the first one felt a bit arcadey.
I want a toggle where you can play on only servers where everyone's in cockpit view, because I feel like I want to play in cockpit view because I want the immersion, but you're at a disadvantage because nobody else is doing it.
I always think that when I was playing like racing games online, and I'm like, I'm in cockpit view, and people in third person view, I feel like have an advantage. So it's a similar thing, I suppose.
What are you shaking your head for?
You and your first person locked in modes. That was like your biggest thing when we talked about player unknown. I just want to play on the first person only.
I do. I like my immersion in video games.
All right, moving on to the next story. Let's talk a little bit up something Ciaran's alley a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about Cuphead subsidedly. Not the game in general, but I want to talk about the story that's been happening the last couple of weeks, because we never touched on it. But another story came out this week, and I'm like, oh, fuck it, let's talk about it. So there was that whole uproar about that game reviewer who was terrible at the game, and everyone gave him shit, like abused him online and stuff. If you've seen the video, I'm pretty sure everyone's seen the video. It's really bad. It went around Twitter like a crazy fucking person. But I want to ask the question, because there was another video that went up this week. It's like, someone beat Cuphead Cuphead on a DDR map in 26 minutes. It's like, get good. That's
I tagged you in that,
the thing. So then I was like, well, if someone can beat it on a Dance Dance Revolution map,
Somebody's beat Dark Souls on a Dance Dance Revolution map.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. But people see that. I look in the comments and people are still bringing up that Game Critic. Like, well, he fucking sucks even more now because someone can beat it on this map. So yeah, I was just going to ask, what does everyone think about this whole thing? And like, should critics should critics be able to beat hard games like Cuphead by default, or like shouldn't it really matter?
No way. A person's ability to play the game shouldn't affect their ability to judge it. Like, just because they can't beat it doesn't mean everybody else that ever's going to play it is going to beat it. Like, some people are going to have that experience and it's going to align with his review.
Say if you find the game too hard that it stops you from progressing into the game deeper, how as a reviewer then do you provide information about the later portions of the games that you might not be able to get to?
I think you can...
Well, a review is just your opinion on what you've experienced.
A lot of people...
Like, there's no disclaimer that you have to beat the game.
It's not have to beat the game, but you have to... Like, a lot of people go to understand the games, and if you're... I guess it's not a requirement, but if people go to a reviewer and all they hear is, first few levels are kind of hard. Yeah, I don't really know anything about the rest of the game, and you're like, well...
That's why you got to take it onus on yourself, not to just go to one person. You need to go to multiple different sources and get...
No, which you do, but at the same time, just like playing devil's advocate for a reviewer shouldn't... If, from a reviewer's point of view, you need people to be checking your reviews. If you get a reputation for not providing a full coverage of a game, then you're not going to be doing your position as a reviewer.
If I can't beat a game, if I'm personally reviewing and I can't beat a game, I'll say that I can't beat it and it's too hard. Like, that's my opinion, and that's, in the end, all a review is an opinion.
Okay.
In Cuphead's... If using Cuphead as an example, and I don't think it's the same for every game, but if Cuphead is the example and you like make it to, let's say you make it to World 2, it gets a lot harder at World 2 compared to World 1, like me and Ciaran know this.
Yeah, definitely.
It's if you can get to that stage and you're like, cool, I've put a decent amount of time into this. I know what this game is. There's this world, there's another world. All it is fucking bosses. Do I really need to experience all the bosses to be able to have a say on the game's mechanics when it's basically the same mechanics put up against different walls, and if they're the bosses, like learning how to fight them differently. In this example, I don't think you should need to beat Cuphead to be able to review it, because it's very much the same kind of game the whole way through.
It's like, in my mind, like as an example for myself, like if I had to review Super Meat Boy, I wouldn't be able to finish it. I'd say that this is the mechanics leading up to this point. This is the difficulty level. This is what you can expect going forward. Like, it's not going to get any easier. Yeah, but I think
you still have to have a certain standards of gaming ability to get there. Like, that reviewer couldn't even make it past the tutorial. Like, that reviewer... He
wasn't reviewing the game, to be fair.
He wasn't?
Like on... No.
Oh, he was just testing it? Oh, okay.
Do you know the full story? Like, I feel so sorry for the dude.
I thought he was a reviewer. That's my biggest...
He is a reviewer. But like what that footage from is like from a demo event or something like that where he was capturing it, and he was just terrible at the game, and he published the video thinking people would laugh with him, not at him. So he published that video intentionally, being like, "Oh, look at the funny stuff I've got here. It's quite amusing." What the fuck happened there?
Dylan froze. Well, welcome to Platinum Explosion. Today I killed Dylan. At this section of the show, welcome Nick. Welcome to the real show. This was that was the fake show before my mousetrap worked, and Dylan is dead.
You actually killed Dylan.
It's a bit like the Joker and the Batman right now. I feel kind of sad. I'm kind of lost without Dylan. What have I done? How did I lose him? I'm just have to make. Who's the Nightwing? I feel like the Nightwing is Ashley Hobley. I think Ashley is the Nightwing here in this situation. But, nevertheless, audience members, we will continue the discussion. Nick. how do you feel about the updates contained in PlayStation Update 5.0?
To be honest, haven't really read it. All I remember is the 1080p 60 FPS.
Fine. And
Yeah.
with it, like, there was the big thing about the Witcher 3 got the PlayStation 4 Pro. Do you have a Pro?
I do have a Pro.
Does that update
do.
really entice you in playing the game some more? Maybe
Not at all.
no.
If I was to play it again, I'd play it through
On the PC.
on the PC.
Okay, so what you're saying is,
Yeah, only because I have the other two, and if I wanted, I'd play through all
so what
three
we're saying is,
in one
we
go.
changed the format of this game to be every Steam achievement counts. Oh no, it didn't work! No, my mousetrap failed! Oh no.
My fucking
No.
god. Did it fuck up for Nick because he was
Yeah,
behind,
no,
or
it
like
knocked in, like messed up for both of us and you were frozen. So Nick and me kept the show going.
I hope you're still recording.
I'm still recording. I didn't stop recording.
Okay, cool.
I'll fix it. It's fine. The fuck was I talking about? Let's continue talking about it.
How you
I
felt
may
sorry
edit
for
it all out depending on what the fuck he said. You'll have to listen in to find out. Because I was like, I can just fix it. I can just like fucking continue what I was talking about. Oh, the guy, right? The guy,
the poor guy.
the Cuphead guy.
It was him like trying to jump, but you had to jump and dash. And I will
Alright,
admit,
okay.
I will
so
admit it didn't explain it.
He recorded all this video. He had the footage. He was like, "This is pretty funny. I'll upload it in like a self-joking way. Like people will laugh with me at how bad I am at this game. Ha ha ha." Uploaded it thinking people would find it funny. Instead, people were like, "You suck. You should be fired. Why you work in the industry?" But he was like, "I know I'm bad at this game. I'm not good at like these games." He's like, I fucking suck at like any sort of platforming-esque thing. And everyone was just like, I don't know, it always escalates. It's like the dude's getting like death threats and like he should be fired and all this other sort of shit. And it's just like, for fuck's sake, like no wonder people like the gaming industry is full of like a bunch of fucking like internet trolls and babies still. It's like, because it is.
It is. Sadly,
Why?
it is.
That's every community though. It's just more prominent in the fucking.
I don't
'cause
think
it's full
it.
of
I don't think so.
fucking-
Like movie and television, I wouldn't say had the same kind of community.
I would. Have you been on movie forums?
No, I'm not a nerd.
There you are, you fucking nerd.
The other thing,
So, yeah.
did you see today? There was a screenshot of the review copy for Mario Odyssey, and there's actually a setting called Game Journalist setting, where it actually said
What?
like there was a Game Journalist setting. I don't know if it was true or not. It might have been fake.
This sounds fake.
It sounds
'Cause
fake.
Nintendo's been putting Nintendo has been putting just like baby mode into all their games. For,
I
like,
think
the
it
last
was
couple
fake. I'm
years.
going to say it was fake
Yeah,
now that
I'm
I,
gonna
now
call
that I
it
think
fake.
about it. But it was like, it puts arrows into the right location. It's like to point you in the right direction, and you'll come back a lot quicker if you fall from a
Yeah,
jump
I remember
or
a couple years ago. Like, I don't know if it was around the same time, or it must have been around. Yoshi's Woolly World was the first game I remember where they're just like, or even like New Super Mario Brothers or something like that had like super easy mode where it's like you can die however many times you want and you'll just get brought back to life. Like you won't run out of lives. It's just like you'll respawn wherever you die. Like Yoshi's Woolly World had the same thing. It's like just casual as old fuck mode. So Nintendo's been adding these modes for ages. I know like Metroid has one as well now, I think, like the one that was just out on 3DS. They're just like, if you don't want to challenge at all, which to me, I'm like, I don't know why you play a game for zero challenge. That sounds pointless, but each to their own. And at least Nintendo's, I don't know, it doesn't hurt to have it, I guess. Whatever. It doesn't. I wouldn't play on these modes.
It's called girlfriend mode.
That is sexist, Nicholas, and I have nothing else to say.
No,
you can tweet
if you-
at Lord Empire if that comment angered you.
You can tweet at the Gearbox guy that come up with it.
Who the fuck come up with that? Oh, Cliff Blazinski?
Yeah. No,
know.
I don't know. The
Terrible
guy that
people.
runs
Terrible.
Oh,
Gearbox.
Gearbox.
It was for Borderlands or something. He
Randy
called it girlfriend
Pitchford.
mode or something like that. That's the
Of
one.
course his
Son of a
name's
bitch.
Randy. Of course
Son
his
of a
name's
bitch.
Randy.
Yeah, so I don't know. Cuphead, should game reviewers have to finish it? No, I don't think so.
Humongous.
It's an interesting thing. And this is my follow up question was going to be for people who have been hearing a lot about Cuphead. What would a PlayStation game? Do you think there's any PlayStation games you could recommend in its place, Ciaran?
Super Meat Boy.
That's the go-to, isn't it? Another game. I didn't finish fucking Super Meat Boy. I'll tell you that.
Wait, were you asking me a question?
Yeah.
What?
What is a PlayStation game you could recommend for people that want to play Cuphead but don't have an Xbox or a PC?
Well, if you have a PC, like no matter what, even if it's a potato, you could play Cuphead apparently. So
If you don't have a PC,
if
or
you
an
don't have a
Xbox.
PC, I'm impressed you're listening to us because obviously you're doing it through a phone or something. But
That's not that
Whatever.
impressive. Because who the
Whatever.
fuck is downloading the files, copying them over to like an
That's why.
MP3 player?
that's fine.
Did you realize how stupid that sounded as you said it? Like, was that one of those things where
Well, you know, somebody in like some third world country is probably ripping our podcasts onto disc and handing them out.
I fucking dream that's a thing?
No, it's like vintage style. They have like a tape recorder set up against their computer, and they're just like they'll press play at the same time and record a tape.
Oh my fucking god.
My answer is I don't know. Does somebody need a floppy disk? Do you reckon they just like
How many zip disks do we need to put
does
our
the
episode
explosion
on?
network mean something else in other countries?
No! Oh my god.
I personally listen to Platinum Explosion on UMD.
You are horrible. You make me spit on
In
my
fact, I
fucking
think I saw
keyboard.
Bevan on the wall in the cave in Iron Man.
Fucking hell. Health and safety.
We've gone for long enough, I swear.
We haven't. Oh fucking god! All right, my suggestions were going to be the Mega Man Legacy Collection or like Shovel
Actually, no,
Knight or
sorry.
something.
I'll go back. I'll say Crash Bandicoot. Do it.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think Crash Bandicoot. If you don't believe me, go back and watch what some of our viewers on Twitch have said is our most rage-filled stream. Go watch Dylan play Crash.
I don't know. I was watching Jack the other night and I think I was beaten.
If you can help Jack with Ruiner, please send help. Send help. He needs you.
All right. Moving on. Let's talk about topic of the week. We're making it 1 year on from PlayStation VR. And Ciaran's here. We're going to sell him. We're going to sell him on it.
Yeah, good luck.
Me and Nick.
Good luck.
Discuss. Because I think it came out on like the 11th or like, oh no, I think it was out.
You said
around
like
this
it was
time.
like the 13th the other day.
13th. Okay,
13th,
yeah, so
you
it'd be
said.
this week. So this is, I'm on fucking time.
13th or the 14th. One of the two.
Perfect timed episode. Main question is, 1 year on, do you regret your purchase of PSVR, Nick?
No.
That's impressive.
Because a while ago, you were very much regretting it completely.
I was.
What's changed?
More games.
Is there enough games though?
Well, that's
There's
the thing.
enough
I
to tide
counted
me
up.
over.
I went on Wikipedia, the source for all correct information.
Yep.
And I just searched for a list of PSVR games. I counted them, and I think there was like 200 and something, 220ish, 250th, I think. Games and experience. That's wait, let
Disclaimer,
me
they're not all
clarify.
games.
Games and experiences.
Titles
if you-
available
if you-
for PSVR.
If you
Yes.
would you get 20 to 30 if you went through them and listed the ones 20 to 30 that are actually worth buying a PSVR for?
Could I list 20 to 30 games? That
Every
are worth playing?
PSVR game I have bought, except for maybe one, has been worth
But
it.
how
many-
many games have you bought for it?
I haven't counted. I'd say 15 to 20, I'd reckon.
Dylan, how many do you think you've bought that you recommend to people for it?
I reckon I could recommend somewhere between 10 to 15.
10 to 15? I don't think 10 to 15 games is enough for me to buy.
I reckon 10 to 15 great experiences. There's a lot of stuff on it that I enjoy, but not enough to use as a like selling point, if that makes sense. Like I've talked about enjoying VR YouTube videos and that sort of stuff, like just VR videos quite a lot, and I've used it a lot for that stuff. That's not really a selling point to a lot of people though.
No.
And I've spent a lot of time watching that sort of stuff. People want the games. All right, let's just start tracking around some games then that should be recommended. Do you have did you make a list of like your favorite ones?
It's all up here.
Of course it is. Every time it's like I never even asked him to make a list because I'm like, he won't actually make a list. Like it's, he won't actually put pen to paper or anything like that. All right, I'll chuck one up straight away that I know will be on your list. Super Hot VR.
Correct.
Why and why is this? Because
it's a good game.
But above that.
It's the most fun I've had at a VR game, in my opinion. Like, you get so into it, like dodging, picking stuff up, throwing it, shooting here, shooting there, and it's just like a puzzle you got to get through. It's, I don't know how to explain it any better than that. Like, it is so immersive and
it makes me feel like I'm in
hectic.
Minority
Like,
Report actually, because I kept doing like when I'd want to like jiggle forward time a little bit because I just like wiggling my hand in the air like this just to make time go forward a little bit. Yeah, or like twitching your neck like a fucking psycho.
Move my head side to side.
But yeah,
make sure you
if you don't know what
some
Super Hot
cake
VR
before
is, it's basically a puzzle shooter game where you're in first person with a gun and you have to take out all the enemies, but time doesn't move unless you move. And so the enemies don't move unless you move, which means you have to actually dodge bullets and stuff like that. But sometimes you could be aiming in the right spot, but a guy's like moving. He's gonna walk into it any second now. So you just like wiggle your hand back and forth, like you like fast forwarding time. Bang, shoot, dead. Or you fire your bullet and then just like to get the bullet to speed up and hit him.
Yeah, or you fire there because you know some guy's gonna walk into it, then you move and then fire up there.
So Super Hot VR would be on the list of great games.
It is.
Yeah, I never played it. I still haven't
definitely.
played it, even though it's free. So I should actually finally check it out. But Rigs,
I think, is the most... I had a lot of fun with it. My only problem was, I don't know if it was something I was doing wrong, but I could never find an online game. But single player was fantastic. It is the most polished PSVR game that I've had. Like, just the visuals and the interface and the way it moved and everything just felt so AAA for PSVR.
They kept doing these damn like esports events when they were like showing it off and stuff like that. So they wanted it to be a lot bigger than I think. It was a really bad decision for them to make this game and try and do some esports VR game like straight out the gate. I was like, this is never going to happen. But
I honestly just give it a go. Like, play through the single player a little bit. Like, and that's the way it moved. It's just, I don't know. I haven't felt anything like it in PSVR. That good.
You're a huge fan of Arizona Sunshine?
I am. I stopped playing it because I got scared.
Holy shit, really? Was that the reason you stopped? Now I want to play this game more.
There's a section where you go through mines and it's like pitch black and you have like you have the gun in one hand and a torch in the other and you don't know where they're coming from, and I just got so worked up I had to put it down.
This doesn't even sound like something that could be that scary.
Every time I looked at the thumbnail image like for it on the store, it's like really colourful. I'm like, oh, it's like a fun zombie game. Like it's just like an arcadey one or something.
It is. I want to buy a PSVR.
Yeah, so do I.
Aim controller just to play it with it, but I don't want to buy a Farpoint.
I've just been waiting to get it like cheaper than retail price. I still really want to play that. And I still really want to get one of those guns to play games like Arizona and stuff like that. But I'm just like, I don't want to pay your price tag. But Arizona Sunshine. talking about shooting games, I doubt you checked out Until Dawn: Rush of Blood.
No, I did. I played the
Two
demo.
scaries.
Yeah.
You did?
I've
well, I
played
played-
that.
Have you? Where'd you
Yeah,
play?
I played it with friends. It was alright. It was pretty good.
Did you finish it?
No, I didn't play it for that long. I just played through a couple different levels. Some levels were scary.
Yeah, it frightened me.
Yeah, it scared the fuck out of me.
The first time going through it, it scared me. Like, each subsequent one, you're like, oh, yeah, I know where that's coming from. I'll shoot that.
Yeah.
Reload here.
It's I reckon it's a lot of fun. I don't think it's like a great game, and it's definitely not like a selling point. But if you, it's in like the list of games because of its cheap price tag, especially now because it'd be like way cheaper. But its retail price was like $25, and it's like an on rails shooter. But I think it works so well because you're in a car, and if you're sitting in a chair, like I played on my computer chair, like just sitting on it and like leaning back and forward, and it's probably not best to lean away from the mic.
Yeah,
but,
getting into it.
If you're like leaning back and forth, you like kind of get into it because you're in a roller coaster thing anyway. And the jump scares got me every fucking time, especially because it was one of the first VR games I played. It was like really susceptible to easy scares. I think as VR games continue, and people will continue to make horror games because it's a really great format for horror games, they'll have to get better at making scares for the system because people, it's like with movies these days, it's like one of my complaints about it was I'm like, it was too much reliant on jump scares, and I never got scared watching that movie because I've watched a lot of horror movies, so it wasn't doing that much for me. But jump scares in VR at the moment is still like a new medium, so it's still getting me. But down the line, I think people have to get smarter. But for now,
they could really go like in the deep end with like psychological stuff and stuff that simulate happening in your head
I'm really
and
looking forward to that Inpatient because I'm like, is it just walking around an asylum getting creeped the fuck out like with weird stuff happening, and just like it's more of a psychological experience than a like big scary things to shoot and whatever else and stuff like that.
Speaking of horror, you'd be remiss not to pick up Paranormal Activity.
You hated it.
I did. It's shit. Avoid it at all costs.
You can read my review on explosionnetwork.com/reviews. Batman Arkham VR is obviously one of the go-tos that a lot of people chuck around. It's fucking fantastic. I want to play it again, like, because it's been so long and because it's such a short experience. That is the type of game that I would just play again because it's like, I'm fucking Batman, and you feel like fucking Batman. Like,
you do, and it's so well realized. Like, it ties into the Arkham games with the visual style and everything so well.
I think that's one of the things people didn't point out enough. Like, when I've heard people talk about this, you can play this if you've never played any of the Arkham games and you've like watched Batman movies and you just want to enjoy it. Sure, you will not understand or fully grasp the story in this unless you've played all the Arkham games.
Yeah, you'll get a whole
because it is
lot more
basically
out of
Arkham.
Yeah.
4, I guess.
I believe it's. I'm pretty sure they said
it is canon. It was made by them and whatever. So
yeah.
But it was that's really interesting, and it's just the fact that like I lost my shit the moment I realized, and this is one of my go-to VR stories, was like the moment I stopped looking down to grab my gadgets.
And you just go down.
Like, because like when you're first getting used to VR, every time you like look down to your side and be like, grab grappling guns, like look down, grab batarang, look back up. But then eventually your mind just clicks, and the first time I just like was like, shing, shing, and like didn't even like look down and just pulled out a batarang, threw it at something. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, when you're in the Batcave doing the battering challenge and you just fucking go.
Yeah, like a maniac. And this is one of the games that like you can play sit down or standing up, and I definitely suggest you gotta play it standing up.
Don't sit down.
It's the full
fucking
experience. It's great. So Batman is a fucking great one. And one of my favorite ones, this is probably one of my top 5 VR games, would be Res Infinite.
I never played
the
that.
VR update port. I don't know what you'd call it. So it's just the VR version of Res with an added level and some other things added to it. But it's an on rails shooter where you're like in a Tron world, like a pixel thing world, and it's got this sick soundtrack, and you just shoot a bunch of stuff, and then there's a boss at every level and stuff like that. But in VR, playing it and just like looking around the world with the headphones on and stuff like that, it is as immersive as all fuck to play. And all the main levels from the game are on rails. The level they made specifically for the VR one is like open level. You kind of like have to look where you want to go, and you walk like move yourself around. It's fucking sick. So Res is definitely one.
Super Hypercube. I only played the demo of that, but I really loved that from what I played. It's the one where you're the blocks and you got to move it around.
The Tetris one. I'm fucking terrible at it. I brought it. Really like it. Great idea. Like really, really smart idea for VR, and enjoy playing it. Played it for short periods because I would start losing horribly after only getting so far, and then look at like high scores and be like, I fucking hate everything about this game because I'm terrible at it. Fuck.
There's a few I want to mention. There's PlayStation Worlds, that really London cool. Heist one. That's fantastic. Like the other ones are fine, but London Heist is where it's at. There's another one called Lethal VR, which is basically just a shooting gallery, but when you're actually in there handling the guns, shooting, throwing knives and stuff, like it's something I've never really experienced before, and it's
doing it. That's a lot of VR though.
I mean, it's hard to explain without actually.
It's hard to explain without doing it.
Yeah, just a simple thing of being in a shooting gallery, which you think is boring as fuck in a normal video game, but in VR, it's just 100 times better.
Valkyrie or something like that, which is just a turret shooter, which if it was a normal game...
Oh, no, that was
Gunjack.
Gunjack.
Oh, Valkyrie's the normal game. Gunjack, which is just a turret shooting game, which if it wasn't VR, I'd be like, why would I even bother playing this? However, in VR, I'm looking around, I'm in a turret system, it looks cool, there's meteors flying at me, ships and stuff like that. It's basically like playing Star Invaders or something like that. But yeah, it's VR. VR makes old concepts for games kind of new and exciting again for a while, especially when you first jump into it. You're like, the most simplistic thing can be fun again because it's just like the added layer and stuff like that. I've talked about space, of course. Shout out to Battlefront's X-Wing mission, which is, if you're a Star Wars fan, I would honestly, if you're like, I'm like 10 out of 10 Star Wars fan, Star Wars is my fucking life, I would be like, it's worth buying a PSVR just to play this.
I felt justified with that. Like, it literally brought tears to my eyes. Just being in that world and being fully immersed in it is just...
The moment you go into...
Incredible.
Well, there's a couple moments, but...
Even when you're first in there and you're like teleporting around the X-Wing and you're getting in there, pressing buttons...
Yeah, you can press all the buttons in the X-Wing before you actually start the mission, which is like... Yeah. Like, what does this button do? What does this button do? Like, look up, what does it do?
And they all work too. Yeah. And the targeting computer comes out and...
But yeah, no, like the first time you go into hyperspace, you're like, holy fuck. You see like the world wrap around you in VR and stuff like that. It's hard to, it's another thing where you're like, you just don't know until you actually have experienced it. Which is weird though. It's like a free add-on for another game, but it is honestly one of the best. It is honestly one of the best things for it. Playroom VR is one of my favorite things for VR as well, which is free.
That was fun playing with Stacey.
Yeah, that's like I think that's one of the go-to examples of a co-op, a great co-op experience and stuff like that. And it's all these really short mini games that show what VR could be used for, family games and party games and that sort of thing. And it's got heaps of great examples of them.
It's almost kind of like the Wii U, except for the gamepad, you got the headset.
Basically.
Yeah.
There's the cowboy one, which I cheated to get the trophies in. But how you're supposed to play it is you're in the VR world and you're like first person shoot. You're supposed to shoot certain people in the saloon, but the person looking at the TV has to tell you which one you're supposed to shoot. So it'll be like, you got to shoot the one with like the mustache, the green hat, and like he's only got one boot on, and you're like in VR like, that one, shoot that one. So it's like a cooperative, which I'm like, that's a really cool.
How did you treat it?
Hey? You just didn't wear the VR.
I just looked up. Like I didn't have the headset pressed all the way in, so I could just like look up and down constantly and stuff like that.
Okay.
If you'd like to be Dylan's my friend, you can tweet at Viva La Dill. Resident Evil 7.
Oh my god, finally! I was disappointed how long this took. This took so long to get to. This like the only game that makes me really want to get a VR unit.
I still haven't played it, which I feel bad because I'm like such a big horror fan. But Nick has. Tell me what.
I played through the whole game in VR and most of the DLC that was released. It, like, you wouldn't think that it would work very well, but it works fantastically. Even the shooting, like, you're so much more immersed. Like when the monsters jump out at you and you're running away from the guy trying to kill you and whatnot. It has revitalized Resident Evil in a way. Was this the game or like the VR? Before. Do you reckon you would be as hyped on this game? Like, what's the difference? If you just played this non-VR, would you be like, "No, it was okay"? Like, do you reckon VR? Oh, it would have got it. I played a little bit non-VR, like, but it's a completely different experience. Being in VR just gets your heart racing. You're like, oh fuck! You're looking over your shoulder constantly. Yeah, I honestly think it is an extra 2 points on the scale.
That's the reason I want it, because I have already played Resident Evil 7, and I was hyped enough as it was for that game. But, like, where does that VR experience take it to for me as a player is something I'd really like to find out, because that game has some messed up stuff in it that I was just like, if that's up in my grill, like, I don't know how I'd react.
How'd you play it, Nick? You was just talking about having to quit the fucking zombie game because of minefields.
It's I don't know, it's different. Like, it was never pitch black. I could always kind of see what was going on, as opposed to where in the mines in Arizona where it's like dark as.
Really? Surely it's like a dark house and everything like that though.
It is, but there's still like enough ambient lighting.
Interesting. My final two shout outs was going to be Thumper, which is like a music horror game, which you're like, how's that even a thing? But it is like, you're like it's like an on-rail little car thing, and you're just like staring down this track, and it's a rhythm game where like it's got cool music and you have to like dodge stuff and press the right buttons at the right times on the track to make sure you don't crash. But by the time you get to the end of the level, there's like this boss, and they're like fucked up looking, grotesque looking weird things, and the music's all really just off-putting sounding. Like, it's techno electronic music, but it's all dark, and it's the way the colors and stuff. So it's a weird game to play, because you're like, I'm actually kind of off-put, feeling a bit weird, like queasy playing this, because it's meant to be like that. And you can play it in non-VR. I wouldn't play it in non-VR, because after experiencing it in VR, I'm like, well, it's just way better that way. And my other one was going to be fucking Dirt. Whichever one that was, 3, I think it is. Yeah, 4's the new one. Yeah, so Dirt 3, which they released a VR patch for, and it is the best car experience from all the car VR things I played. If you're like, look at Drive Club, no, fuck Drive Club, you should play Dirt.
Yeah, my issue with Drive Club is that the fidelity was
Drive Club made me feel sicker too.
Yeah, it's just everything looked fuzzy.
Yeah, it was part of that. Yeah, for some reason, Dirt got it right, and I would go around a corner too fast and like flip my car upside down and still not feel sick, because it's just what felt better.
I think it's because everyone at Evolution at that point is like, fuck this, why would we care about this?
Yeah, I don't know.
You just shut us down. Why would we make Friday afternoon special?
It's a good game to play in VR too. It's the kind of game that made me
enjoyed it in VR.
Steering wheel set up and everything for the full experience.
It made me pissed off that my PS3 steering wheel didn't work, because no, you can't have fucking support both consoles, can you?
Because it's not like an arcadey racer. It's the, hard ride here. It's a sim racer, so it made me want like the full immersion on top of the VR and stuff like that. So I don't know how many games that was, because I wasn't really counting, but that seemed like a decent list. And if you're listening, there are other games I can mention as collection. Like if you've got VR, like there's other games I'd suggest. Like if you're like, Dylan, I've got VR, like name a bunch of games I should get, I'd be like, well, this one's okay, that's kind of fun. But this was more of what are the great games on PSVR? And I feel like we mentioned a fucking decent amount then, like enough.
There was a fair few. There's a fair few. It hasn't piqued my interest to spend $550 though. So yeah. I think more games.
The thing is,
Resident Evil,
how much is enough though?
I'll play.
I think. Do you need more games like Resident Evil, or do you only really need a couple games? Because it's like
I need
like
a
I've
couple,
got my
games
Switch and
that-
I've played like 3-4 games on it, and I don't feel like I've wasted money on it.
No, that's okay. That's fair. That's a fair effort. I feel the same way about my Switch. So yeah, I think if there's a couple more games like Resident Evil 7 on the console that is actually like a full game.
Ace Combat's meant to be coming out. That's a
That's-
full AAA game.
Yeah, but that's not. Yeah, that's a bit different. Like I mean, like a full experience where, like I don't say the thing about Resident Evil was no matter where you played Resident Evil, it was the same experience. Like it was the same story, it was the same gameplay. It was like there was a bit of different because it was VR, but it was overall the same game. It wasn't like a lot of stuff like VR or other similarities like the Kinect was. A lot of games come out and they're like, yeah, but you can play it in VR, and then it's just a watered down version. I don't want a watered down version of games. I want the game on the VR unit.
That's fair. I feel decent about it. I feel like for the first year, it's new tech. It's I would rate it. I think the first year is a success from everything we heard from Sony. It was selling well and it sold decently. Like I don't think like maybe they're not as happy with its sales as they might want to be, but I think they're not disappointed. Like, or they're angry about it.
I was a little scared for it when there was this dark patch where Sony did not talk about the VR. For
That's
2
where
months.
I wanted to. If they
Yeah,
didn't
that was
announce
when,
anything
like,
at
2-3 months.
E3, I was like, yeah, if they don't do anything good here, it's gone.
Yeah, 2-3 months where it was like nothing. I'm like, oh god, is this like Wonder Book again? Is this the Vita again?
No, it's fucking not. Wonder Book got 3-4 games
again.
total.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It already had games, but it's just my. Before VR came out, I always said that what makes or breaks this system isn't how good or bad this system is. It's how well Sony supports it and pushes it. Because if Sony do what they've done previously, where they kind of put stuff out and then, you know, just kind of leave it there, you're like, it's not going to do well again. So
I don't look at it as an add-on to my PlayStation. I always just consider it like my other secondary system. So I look at it as an Xbox, as a Switch, something like that.
Yeah.
And
It's like games that you'll play on it, but like it's not your main.
it's like
gaming
it's
console.
my PS4 is my main system always, and I just look at it as like just another system to back up. And if I look at the amount of games I've played in the year on it and the experiences I've had and how much I've used it, I'm happy. I'm happy with my purchase. I have zero regrets at all, and I look forward to hopefully another year of good experiences. I hope they announce a bunch of stuff with PSX personally. Like
yeah, it's fair enough.
if I was going to show a bunch of stuff, I feel like it might be PSX anyway because it's more the audience, I suppose. I guess. Bunch of PlayStation fans at an expo probably own Sony's VR headset. Or would be more inclined to purchase one than the average E3 audience, I suppose.
I'm glad they didn't save the stupid box thing as a Paris Games Week.
Yeah, exactly. They could have saved that, but because they didn't, I'm like, maybe we'll get some. You're going to announce their Move updated controllers? Because that's the number one fucking thing I want at the moment.
Yeah, combine that with the nunchuck controller for the Move, and like have fucking analog sticks on it, for God's sake.
Yeah, I think that's they have to be releasing an update for that. I think
I don't think they need analog sticks on it. I think
they do.
no, because I think other VR systems work much better even without analog sticks. So
they're like.
I want movement where I'm not.
The problem is
around
the problem
place.
is at the minute with
I wanna be able
VR
to-
is stuff. The reason you teleport around the place is because
It's a
of
sickness thing.
Is motion sickness. It's not because.
But I want the option. Not like I played through Tomb Raider with like full FPS movement, rigs, Resident Evil, all full like traditional controls. And fair enough, some people get sick, but there's also people that don't. Like, there's no reason not to have both options there if you want it. Like the fucking
I'd rather
aim
them
controller has two
pick a
analog
system
sticks, so you
and
can
do
do
that
it.
system really well than try and do two systems.
But the thing is,
myself.
these games that have that, they aren't half-assed either. They both work really well.
That's up to
No.
the developer anyway, really, not Sony. Like if Sony puts analog controllers on the controllers, that's like putting the option there for developers.
And they've
who
already
want to
done it
develop
anyway
games
with
that
the
way.
aim controller.
But it's a lot of difference, even between, like, if you think of the technical difference between teleporting places and moving, like, physically having, like, you being able to move, the frame rate and the changes to that would be pretty different between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Arizona Sunshine already do it well, and other games do it well. So...
PSVR Year 2, let's kick it in. Can't wait for PSX, Paris Games Week, something where they announce heaps of cool games. All right, let's move into Mail Chime.
That's what it's called now?
No,
Mail Chime.
We're continuing adding fucking answering Michael C's questions. This week, before digital games, what was your game borrowing policy? I presume that means like, because at the moment you could use someone else's account details to log into their account and share game libraries and stuff like that. You can do that digitally.
You can?
You can. Even on back on PS3 days, you could do all this sort of stuff.
Can you? Okay. It's news to me.
Back... So, what was... Did anyone really care about? Did anyone... I mean, I never really borrowed games off people, actually.
I lent someone my brother's copy of Kingdom Hearts 1 and he destroyed it. So
Yeah, I had trust problems, so I never lent out games at all.
And I was paranoid about putting all the discs back in the same fucking case.
My problem was that, like, I'd play a game, finish a game, and then go trade it in. And then, me being a nostalgia nerd nowadays, I'm kind of like, I wish I hadn't done that. I wish I still had them here. Because, for no reason. Like, I'm excited to have... I'm really excited...
Wait till you move out to your own place and you realise...
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Once I move out, probably... But I'm also excited that I have this digital library that's going to follow me around. I'm excited for that stuff.
Yeah, I lent out... I can't remember what the game was, but I lent out one game once. Went down to my friend's place the next day or like the next couple days, whatever it was. I like walk in, it's like sitting upside down, like the disc, like the front face bit is like, so they've tried to put the disc part up so it's not like scratching on the surface, but it's just like sitting on top of their entertainment center as like their sisters like changed the disc to put a movie in or something. And I was like, no, this is not okay.
You've told the story before. I think I know this story. You've said this before.
Have I?
Yeah, you have definitely
like on
told us the story before.
Or...
I think it was podcast contest because I can remember this exact conversation.
Can I borrow you, Toby?
But after that, guess what Dylan didn't do?
Lend people your shit.
Lend people fucking anything. That's right. Dylan, can I borrow your Blu-ray? No. Can I borrow your... No. Can I borrow your... No. Fucking hell. And then you get known as like the anal fucking person, like, oh, I won't fucking scratch it, like you're just obsessed, like I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. But yeah, I didn't really borrow anyone's stuff. I remember back in the day, I'd game shared once on PS3 with like people online. Like when PSN first went up, I game shared for like fucking Pain and Flower and like something like that, and someone else like logged into my account and like downloaded the couple games I owned. I wouldn't do that at all these days anymore because I'm like, my fucking credit cards like tied to my account and all this sort of stuff, but it was like all I had at the time was using PSN cards, I suppose. So I didn't
look
really
at it
care.
this way, it's not like PSN's ever going to get hacked.
At the time, they hadn't been. What little I didn't know. All right, let's wrap up with hashtag every trophy counts. There's only 2 games I was going to go over this week because there's not much popping up. Pop. There's Sonic Forces, if you care about that fucking game, which has 10 silvers. Cool. If you fucking care about Sonic. I don't actually know what this game is. I was trying to find out what it is. I'm like, is this the bad Sonic game for the year? Because everyone liked that other Sonic game. So is this the third-person shitty one? It's got a bunch of weird characters that I don't remember ever being in a Sonic game in it. And trophy link, let's get all the rings, get all the things. Cool, it's a Sonic game, enjoy that. The other one is a Vita game called Semispheres. It's like a puzzle. I was reading about it earlier in the week. It's like a puzzle, weird, like top-down game. I don't really know how to describe it. You'd have to like look up a YouTube video, but it looks interesting, and it's a Vita game, so of course I'm like, I'm intrigued to look up this. But the trophy list also just looks easy as fuck. It's got It's got 10 bronzes, 10 golds, 3 silvers, and 1 bronze, and a platinum. And all the trophies bar 1 are just numbers. So it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm presuming they're for completing like worlds or something, like, or levels. Like, I don't know. If it's only got 13 levels, that's not many levels. So I'm going to hope it's like levels or sections of levels or something. And I'm just going to presume the numbers are just like complete that section. And then the one trophy that's not a numbered one is 35. Well, it is a number one. It's 35.00, like in time though, and the older others are in Roman numerals. So I'm like, well, that must mean beat the game in 35 minutes or less or something like that. So depending on the difficulty and depending on if the levels are easy to do with a guide, that's probably an easy platinum if someone just writes down how to beat all the fucking beat all the puzzles. So that game's out this week. Wait for a trophy guide, and I suspect an easy puzzle for bloody fucking Vita game. Ciaran, where can people find you?
People can find me at your boy Ringo or over at twitch.tv/Explosion Network where I play games, as you'll find all of us there.
You will. Nicholas, where can people find you?
You can find me at Humongous.
I mean, I already gave out your Twitter, so you can't rob. Just wait for them comments about the damn girlfriend.
The girlfriend mode.
Fucking thing. You can follow me on Twitter at Vivaladil, Vivaladil, and you can follow the podcast, the whole network, on at Explosion Pod. And don't forget to subscribe to the show and whatever damn service you use. I don't know. You're on iTunes. You're in like one of these other weird RSS feeds. Using one of these damn Android apps. I don't know what you're doing. You watch it on YouTube. Probably subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're on iTunes, go give us an iTunes review. If you're on somewhere else, I don't think other places do reviews, but go to one of the other places that do reviews and give one there. Head to explosionnetwork.com for all the great shows and enjoy and have a lovely afternoon, morning, or tea time, whatever you're doing. Plat plat.
Hey, listen, Ciaran here. If you haven't heard, the Explosion Network will be streaming for 24 hours and participating in Extra Life on November 4th, raising money for the Sick Kids Centre for Global Child Health. Head on over to explosionnetwork.com/extralife for all the details on how you can help us, including donating, giving us some ideas for challenges, or games you'd like to see us play. October 27th to 29th, apparently Pact Melbourne's happening, and I'm going to be there with Dylan, Ash, and Jono. So feel free to come say hey if you see us on the show floor. Then, there's a disturbance in the Force. On October 27th, we'll be launching a Star Wars podcast in the lead up to Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Of course, our weekly shows will always continue. Pleasure Explosion Mondays, Platinum Explosions on Tuesdays, and Grandstand Gurus Thursdays. All at 12 p.m. Catch our live streams where I like to dwell during the evenings at twitch.tv/Explosion Network, and keep your targets locked on explosionnetwork.com for all our explosive content. Hey Nick, shout out to Bevan. If you will be the Knuckles to my Dr. Robotnik, and if you take out Dylan, you can have Toby as your reward.
But in the lore of Sonic, Knuckles becomes good. So I have to help. I have to help Dylan
as long
take
as you
you
do
out.
the deed. As long as you do the deed prior.
You fucked yourself.
As long as you do the deed prior to it.
But if Dylan's not there,
suggests.
Dylan's my catalyst to becoming good.